Hey guys, welcome to the guide. So today I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. The secret is classified super duper duper top secrets level 15 and other bullshit that I'm making up. And that secret is airplanes aren't that hard to fly. They kind of like fly themselves nowadays with all the computer systems packed into them. Like, they could pretty much fly themselves. They just need the pilot to taxi them around. And right now, I'm playing War Thunder. I'm flying around in a Spitfire, but I'm playing in realistic mode, which I play off and on here and there in War Thunder. It's just I prefer arcade mode because arcade is more intense, and there's more crap going on in arcade mode. And generally in like the awesome airplanes that I'm doing, I'm playing in arcade mode, which yeah, I know the physics are like way the hell off in arcade mode, but you know what? American choppers proved that Americans want to be entertained more than edumacated, so you know, I'm kind of just going with the flow on that one. I mean, this is more realistic dogfighting World War II standards than arcade mode is. Yeah, sure, I know, but you know, Americans want to be entertained. I'm sorry, you know, American choppers proved that Americans want to be entertained and want to watch people argue more than actually be educated. Like, I didn't learn shit about making motorcycles from American choppers, alright? I didn't learn shit. I just learned about arguments and people yelling at each other. And I learned that, like, Americans want to be entertained more than educated. So, you know. So, I'm just going with the flow on that one, alright? I'm sorry. Like, I gotta follow the trend on the entertainment more than educated part, right? Alright, so anyways, back to the main topic of the story, which is airplanes aren't that hard to fly. Alright, so to prove to you that airplanes really aren't that hard to fly, at least the first example of it, I'll just take computers for instance. There have been autopilots in aircraft since the late 1970s, early 1980s that can completely and totally control the airplane like autonomously, and the pilots are just there to overwatch what it's doing. Like, since like computers have been able to fly airplanes for 40 years now. Computers still can't figure out how to navigate a car through traffic by itself, but computers for 40 years have been able to fly airplanes by themselves. Alright, so it's harder for a computer to navigate a car down the street with traffic and stoplights and all that than it is for a computer to fly an airplane. And computers have been flying airplanes for 40 years now, at least like 40 years. So yeah, that's Exhibit A right there. It's easier for a computer to fly an airplane than it is for it to drive a car. Like, computers still can't do that. They're working on it right now, but they still can't fucking do that. They can't fucking drive a car yet, but they can fly planes perfectly fine. And I know some people are just sitting out there looking at me and being like, yeah, but you're just playing a fucking video game, man. You don't know how real airplanes work. And I'd be like, yeah, I know I'm playing just a fucking video game, but it's a video game that simulates airplanes and how they fly and all that jazz. And guess what? Modern day, you know, fighter pilots, before they ever step into an FA-18, before they ever step into an F-16, before they ever stepped into like an F-15 cockpit, you can guarantee they already have like 100 hours in a simulator that's pretty much a fucking video game that simulates that plane. They have 100 hours at least in a simulator before they ever step in that cockpit. Like, they know what every button, switch, lever does in that cockpit before they ever step in it because of the simulator. They know how the plane handles because of the simulator, because modern day simulators are just fucking that good at simulating the physics of the airplane and how the air moves around it and all that jazz. So modern day simulators are fucking awesome. Commercial airliners, same story. All those emergency plans, exit maneuvers that they learn in the simulator. They don't learn it on the job. They learn that shit in the simulator. And no, I don't think just because I'm a pretty decent pilot in War Thunder video game that I can step into an F-15 Eagle and fucking rock the socks off of the plane. Probably the plane would rock the socks off of me. I know myself. I'd fucking hit the afterburners, and after 5,000 feet, I'd probably be spewing in the vomit bag, like, and I'd probably forget to fucking hit the landing gear switch, and the landing gear would go flying off. Like, yeah, I'm not saying I can like jump into an F-15 Eagle because of this, but at the same time, if I'm on an airliner and the lead flight attendant comes running back going, "Oh my God, the pilot's just OD'd on coke. Can anybody fly an airplane?" Well, I can probably raise my hand and have a pretty good shot at landing that motherfucking airplane. As long as I can get on the radio, get a hold of somebody in the tower that like knows the inside of the cockpit, who can tell me like what the button switches do, where the flaps are at, where's the landing gear at, most importantly where the autopilot button is at, I would have a pretty good chance of fucking landing that airplane. Especially since most airports, they have this laser at the end of the runway that shoots up, and it pretty much guides the airplane in. So if you ever like have seen or played like Ace Combat, there's like this T thing that moves around, and that's that laser. It tells the pilot if he's high, low, too far left, too far right, and the autopilot can lock onto that laser and bring itself down anyways. So like pretty much I just have to know where the autopilot button is and dink. Yeah, okay, where's the landing gear button? Flip. Okay, and well, the autopilot's taking care of the flaps, so I guess all I gotta do is taxi this motherfucker in and we're good, right? Yeah, okay. Everybody get the fuck out of my way, because I don't know the radio lingo, and we'll be good. Alright, thumbs up, let's do this. And then I'll walk out of the cockpit like I knew what the fuck I was doing and be like, yeah, I'm getting laid tonight. So, I've already established that for a computer, it's easier to fly an airplane than it is to drive a car, right? I've already established that. So why do like humans think that airplanes are so hard to fly? Why is that? And I think that's partly because airplanes, there's a high learning curve in learning to fly an airplane. Like if you fuck up in an airplane and you're at like 10,000 feet, then you got 10,000 feet to fucking fix the situation, like, you know. And the ground's coming up at you pretty fast, so there's some urgency in there. You know, if you fuck up in a car, you get spooked in a car, you just pull over to the side of the road, take a breather, and then a couple minutes later, you're ready to go. In an airplane, there's a time limit. If you're at 10,000 feet and you stall out, you have 10,000 feet to figure out how to get out of that stall, and if you don't fucking figure it out, well, you're crashing, and you're having a really shitty day. If you're lucky, you walk away with it, and the airplane's total. If you're unlucky, well, you're dead, and then it doesn't matter if the airplane's total or not, because you're fucking dead. And it's always, like, hard to blame the people that died, right? You know, that's why pilots never take any blame for anything, because they're fucking dead. It's hard to point the finger at the dead guy, you know? Like, the dead guy might have fucked things up, but he's dead, so it's hard to place the blame on the dead guy when he's probably the one that like fucked things up anyways, but he's dead, so you can't place the blame on him. But once you learn how to fly an airplane and get past that initial like fear factor of fucking something up, they're really not that hard to fly. They're really not. And mechanically speaking, airplanes are simpler than modern day cars are. Like legitimately they are. A civilian, like a small civilian single engine airplane that you can buy and own and fly off of your local regional airport is simpler in construction than your car is. Like legitimately it is, alright? Like what do you need in an airplane? You need a super reliable engine that's not going to break down on you at that 10,000 feet in the middle of a flight. You know, that's definitely something you need. And the rest of an airplane's pretty fucking simple. They're like they're steel wires and an airframe. Like steel wires to connect the control systems to everything so you can maneuver. And then an airframe. Airplanes are pretty fucking simple. Civilian airplanes that you can own and buy yourself are pretty fucking simple. But if you go and you like look for one, the cheapest one you're gonna find is like $100,000. You know, you can get a good used car for $10,000. You want a good used airplane? That's like $100,000 right there. Like, why the fuck are they so expensive? And part of the reason is because fucking America got all sue happy during the 70s and 80s and started suing the civilian airplane manufacturers for like stupid shit. There's this one story my stepdad loves to fucking tell over and over and over again about it was this dude, I think he has a Cherokee or some shit, and it was a private civilian, you know, small single engine aircraft, and his mechanic kept writing it up because it was like a $10-15 part for his seat, because the seat wouldn't latch. You know how you can move your seat up and forward in your car, where airplanes are the same way, and his seat wouldn't latch, so like every once in a while the seat would go blink and just go flying back. And he never paid attention to it, the owner of the aircraft never paid attention. He kept flying the airplane even though the mechanic told him. The mechanic wouldn't, like, he wrote the airplane off and said it wasn't flyable because of this. It was like a $10-15 part. And the guy wouldn't replace it, but he kept flying the airplane. Anyways, one day the guy takes off and the seat comes flying back, and he yanks the stick back, causes the airplane to go straight up in the air. He fucking stalls it, plane falls. And he dies, he crashes, and his wife ends up suing the company that made the airplane because it's defective, and like she won somehow. Even though it was in the logbook, the mechanic wrote the airplane off as unflyworthy because of this issue. Somehow she still won. So that's why airplanes are so damn expensive, because now they have to cover their asses because they're afraid of getting sued for everything. Like, imagine fucking a car company getting sued and losing over something so stupid as that. Well, that's what happened to the aircraft industries. They fucking got the shit sued out of them. They're the private civilian aircraft industries. They got the shit sued out of them. So now airplanes are crazy expensive because they got to cover their asses for stupid shit like that. But my interest in airplanes is I either want an ultralight, which is like the smallest, rinky-dinkiest airplane you can get. They go like 60, 70 miles per hour. But you don't need a pilot's license to actually fly one. At least last time I checked, you don't need a pilot's license to actually fly one. Though one of those would be cool, because you can like pull that thing out of your garage, and as long as you got cool neighbors, you can fucking take it off the road and fucking dink around for a little bit. I mean, I don't think the FAA would flip shit over that. They might flip shit over that, but I don't think they would. One of those would be cool. Or I want like an F-15 Eagle or a Russian Su-27, like fighter jets. That would be awesome. But I couldn't get the F-15 Eagle because I don't take care of my shit. And like American planes, we build them like Swiss watches, so they're super complicated and super fucking need a lot of maintenance. And I'm not good at taking care of my shit, so I couldn't get an F-15 Eagle because that thing would break on me immediately. So I'd be better off with the Russian Su-27 fighter jet, because Russians build shit like tanks, and that thing would be reliable as a motherfucker, and I don't take care of my shit. So I'd be better off with an Su-27, even though they would never let me touch one, like fucking ever. They would never let me touch one. Unless I like went to some Middle Eastern company that was trying to like sell one. Maybe then, but I still doubt they'd ever let me in the country with it. Unless I broke a deal with the Air Force. That'd be, you know, be like, hey, I'll show up to Red Flag, like the Air Force's big training operation that they do once a year. That'd be cool. I'd be like, I'll show up to Red Flag if you let me in this thing, the country with this thing. I don't think that'd fly. It probably wouldn't fly.